Welcome back and welcome to week 5 of Valencia Marathon training. So by the end of this video, when it is released, there'll be just 7 weeks to go until the Valencia Marathon. Stay tuned to find out how this week's training's gone. So with how this week has gone so far, one theme of this week's video that I'm going to talk about is adjustment and listening to your body and how you feel. So I'll just fill you in a little bit on what's happened this week. So as you remember from last week, I did that 22-mile long run, and I have been trying to hit a decent mileage on a Monday night. So I've been trying to bank some early miles in the week, and it's probably just caught up on me a little bit that doing about 22 miles this week, a 20-mile last week, and then some long runs on a Monday, albeit just at an easy pace, have made me feel a little bit weary and picking up sort of a few aches and niggles along the way. So what I did after Monday night's run, so Monday night's was just over 11 miles easy run. This is straight off the back of a 22 miler. So what I did after that was usually I'd have an interval session on Tuesday, which has been a really good structure of my week. And I've been really pleased that I managed to hit 4 weeks and a few weeks before that of interval sessions every week. I think I took a lot from this fitness wise, but this is the first week that I had to miss a big session and just listen to my body and miss that session. So didn't run Tuesday night, then was still feeling a little bit weary on Wednesday, so it's feeling a little bit down with the running on Wednesday, I guess. But no, I just didn't feel up to going, a little bit weary and lacking that energy. So I did decide to change my week around, and I'll be doing this interval session tonight on a Thursday instead of a Tuesday. So also going into this week, I was thinking of changing that structure slightly anyway. So I was thinking of doing just for one session midweek, be that an interval or a tempo, but probably more of a shorter interval session, as I'm looking to work in a tempo sections within my long run. So now I've built up my long run to 22 miles, I would like to introduce a bit more speed into that long run and a bit more marathon specific work, so that when I am running for 2 hours plus, I mean last week's was 2 hours 45, which isn't far off what I'll be running for a whole marathon. So I want to work in that marathon specific paced speed work within there. So I have got to think about how I look at this week as well. So it is quite natural to sort of get down and think that I've just done the one run so far this week and it's Thursday evening, and then think about what I probably would have done a few years ago is try to cram everything in that I'd missed into the rest of the week. But I've decided not to do that this time. I'm just going to stick to my one session tonight, whatever run I would have been doing tomorrow, Saturday, and then my session on Sunday. So the reason I don't want to be cramming everything in is that it's going to be too much volume in a short space of time, and it'll put me back for the next week. So I expect this week to be a little bit down on volume, simply through missing a couple of days of running while I rested up. So back to tonight's session. I'm going to do a bit of a shorter session, to be honest. So I'm going to keep it nice and simple and do 4 lots of 800 meters, or more specifically 4 lots of half a mile, as I work in miles, and then 4 lots of 400 meters. So I'll be taking a 90 seconds jog recovery between these to ensure that I recover efficiently, so that I can hit a decent pace on the reps. And just to freshen things up tonight, it's an absolutely glorious evening, just as the sun's setting. I've decided to do my intervals on a different path, so rather than running around the same block mile loop, I've come out a bit of a quieter section and it's a long enough stretch that I should be able to get at least a 400 rep in straight off, but I might have to turn for the 800. So without much further ado, here we go, rep 1. So that's now 3 of the 800 meters done, and volume wise at 1.5 miles, that's halfway through the session. So I've really been enjoying these. The extra 30 seconds on the recovery is making all the difference from just having the 60 seconds as previously. So yeah, we'll keep this up and see you in the next rep. So on to the last rep of the 400, so the 4th rep. I opted for 60 seconds recovery this time. It's been a bit more difficult, but it's just how my length of the interval worked out. So it worked out better to do 60 seconds rather than waiting to turn for a good spot at 90. Last one, let's go. Back out now on Friday night, so finished the work week. Going for an easy hour just to switch off after work and get my run done for the day. So as you notice, I've got my gloves on. The temperature is dropping a little bit now in England, so my hands do get a little bit cold, even though the rest of my body stays pretty warm on the run. So yeah, glove season from now on, I'm afraid. And this is actually the same path that I did my interval session on last night, so just heading out on the start of my loop now. So heading on to one of my favourite sections of this route, and something I'm going to make the most of before the light gets too dark for me to run in the evening. So this is a section that is about 1.5 miles on this farm track, so completely off-road, completely out of traffic. I just no one in sight. Absolute bliss. It's now down to Sunday evening again, and it's that time of the week to round up the running this week. So it's not exactly the update I wanted to deliver, because it has been quite a difficult week this week. As I mentioned previously, I didn't run on Tuesday and Wednesday night because I was feeling a little bit run down, to be honest. So that was the first sort of bump in the road, as it were, this week. So I managed to miss my normal Tuesday session, which is the first session that I've missed of a block, and then push that back to a Thursday, which meant that I didn't do a tempo session this week. But as I'd explained, that was going to be pushed into my weekend session. So my Sunday long run was going to form a 4x3 mile run. However, I didn't get that done today on Sunday. Just felt a bit under the weather all day and a little bit fatigued through. I think it's off the back of last week, possibly pushing it a little bit too hard with that 22 miler. I've just not really recovered as well as I'd like to this week. So it's been a bit of a difficult week, and it's kind of glad to get to the end of the week and just reset afresh and go again on Monday. So mileage wise, it's about 28 miles this week, which is a lot lower than the 50s, 60s I've been doing, but that was only over 4 runs. So three relatively easy runs and 1 session within that form the 28 miles this week. So looking ahead to next week, it will be an opportunity to go again. So I'll have the opportunity to reset, go through a normal structured week, hit my interval session midweek, and I've got something to look forward to at the weekend. So earlier in the block, I'd entered into the Yorkshire Marathon. So this was an opportunity to get onto a race and get a race number on and have a decent effort there. So it's not one that I'll go all out. I know that I'm not in the fitness at the moment to go all out for a PB effort. Still sort of 6 or 7 weeks away from my main goal in Valencia. And then again, I don't want to go all out and hamper what I could possibly do at Valencia. So I'm treating this as a bit of a long run, and it'll be good to get up 26 miles in. So it'll be my third time over 20 miles in this block. And I really think that concentrating on these long runs will be key in this marathon build-up, which is a little bit why I'm disappointed to have not done that today. But I make these decisions in the best interest of what my overall marathon training is going to be. And at the end of the day, we do this as a hobby. We're not professional athletes. And even then, you'd still listen to your body and want to recover properly and look after yourself. So I think I've made the right decision this week, and we'll see how we get on next week. Fresh week, fresh start on Monday. Here we go again.